My purpose is to be there for any survivor that's having a hard time coming forward. And I'm not here to say, if you don't come forward and tell your truth and stand in your truth, that you're a bad person. I understand the pain is horrible. If you just need somebody to talk to explain to you what repressed memories feel like. What do you do when you start shaking and trembling? When you have rage in you that you can't control? I want to be there.
Michael Stano, thank you so much for joining this show. I'm very excited to talk to you, to hear your story in full. As you know, the way that I found you is I saw you on Instagram talking about your news story about your case against the Archdiocese of Denver, the Catholic Church. And I don't want to give anything away. I just want to hear your story in full. So this episode is all about you. Tell us about your upbringing, your childhood, what it was like growing up in the Catholic Church.
Thank you. And again, it is my honor to be here. It is my honor to not only represent my truth, the truth of my healing and my recovery and my abuse, but also all of my brothers and sisters, my tribe of survivors that span across all institutions and organizations, Catholic and other, many of which I connect with are Catholic, but I represent all of them and wish them all the healing power of love and faith, forgiveness, and acceptance, and of course, peace. I'm 53 years old. I was born in Denver, Colorado. I was raised in Lakewood, Colorado. I went to public school and went to Sunday school and such until about age 6. First and second grade were in public school, and at age in third grade, I was moved over to Notre Dame Catholic School. I was born to two extraordinary parents, my father, Joseph Stano, and my mother, Gloria. God rest her soul. She passed away some time ago. She still visits me every day in her bird form. My family was a really, basic nuclear family. And my brother, 5 years older, loved Dungeons and Dragons and science fiction, all those things. And my sister, by the time I got to Notre Dame, was just born. She was 5 years younger than me, Jolene. And as one would expect, all of my mother's attention turned to my sister, rightfully so. She was newborn. I was the middle child. My brother was 5 years older, also an altar boy, and was doing his own thing. My dad worked very hard as a metallurgical engineer. He had to travel to Texas regularly to oversee mining operations or, do whatever it is that he had to do to make sure that there was food on our table. Things were hard in the 70s. There was a lot of unemployment. There was a lot of, unknowns. There was a lot of political unrest. There was a lot of things going on. And, my dad and my father were devout Catholics. My mother was originally Methodist, but when she married, she became Catholic. And I was raised very, very Catholic. We weren't just occasional Catholics. We were all there. Every holy day of obligation, Sunday school. It was, what we thought was a healthy life. So my dad was gone a lot. My mom was, busy. She had 2 kids. She was, volunteering at the church. She did everything at the church and the school at Notre Dame. She sewed. She did. Many people called my mother the sergeant because she would always run things, at that church. And so that made me an ideal target. I was very much targeted because, there was a wink link. For some people, it was because they had problems at home. But for other people, it might have been that they had problems individually. Mine was that I had a loving family that was extremely devout, and they knew that they could manipulate and condition my parents. They knew they could manipulate and condition me. And that's what they did. But the strength that my parents gave me, as I mentioned at one point, I have a photograph of me before the abuse, me after the abuse, and me at the day of one of the biggest abuses was something changed in me as a boy. These were my formative years. Everything the priest told me to do, I did. The director of altar boys, and I won't mention his name, but was involved in my conditioning and told me do anything Monsignor Heister tells you to do. Monsignor Heister was extremely charismatic. He would get up on altar and be just big as life. And people just kind of, went with it. But boy, when he, the conditioning started in the sacristy and the testing in the sacristy, and I was taken regularly to the rectory, which oddly enough, the rectory's bedroom had a view of the children's playground. You do the math. I was taken there with other boys. I was there all the time. I was not only raped, I was photographed and videotaped. I can expand further on what was happening in Colorado because I think it's important for people to know that Colorado's abuse hive is very unique. But through all of that, I don't remember much of my childhood, good or bad. As I'd indicated, all of my memories were repressed. They would be repressed in motion as I was going through things. From age 6 to 18, I was badly abused, badly. These weren't a tap on the ass or a fondling or a molestation. They were gang rape. They were sadistic and ritualistic. And other organizations, other priests that started coming over, other bishops, things like that, would regularly make us be in plays or act or do things that obviously had dirty endings. And the abuse just continued to grow. It started at Notre Dame. Then suddenly I was at St. Thomas and I was at St. Andrew. I went to St. Thomas under the guise that I'd be an amazing priest. And I just wanted to make my dad happy and proud. And little did I know that he never knew I went to St. Thomas. He never knew. And I asked him that about in July, about a year and a half ago, when my repressed memories came forward. I said, Dad, did you remember me going to St. Thomas? Weren't you proud of me? He said, no, I never knew you went. I would not have allowed it. And the same was true when I was taken to Camp St. Malo. And yeah, as I indicated, the story of Camp St. Malo was pretty profound. A little boy was murdered there. The thought was, somebody may have been involved, Monsignor Heister. Nobody could put it together, but they found the boy's skull in a backpack. Bobby Biza, the story is out there. It's not big. It's nothing new. It's been all over the planet, frankly, that story. But nobody had come forward and said that Monsignor Heister had abused them until I did. And the church, of course, is heavily guarding that particular secret. St. Andrew was a high school and also had a seminary at it as well. And it was a different sect of the Catholic religion. As you may know, the Catholic religion has many orders within it. And I don't believe that all people in the Catholic Church, all, priests out there, there's many good ones that have helped me still to this day who have helped me. But this particular one was, I believe, ran by the Vincentians. And it was a kiddie porn production facility. Me and other abuse survivors that, I'm not going to name them, they've come forward. We were photographed. We were filmed. We were made to do things, very dirty things, while we were acting in plays and doing things. Other people, Father Morano, Father Whipkey, Bishop Casey, all these people. And I can't even tell you how many people raped me. I don't remember because I was heavily drugged. You drink the wine. What do you think was in the wine? Same thing that you drink when you're in the bar. I often laugh and say, God, it'd be funny if somebody tried to roofie me now because it wouldn't work. Although I'm sure that it would. Actually, I know it would because I had a recent event that somebody did roofie me. But they brutally raped me. They tried to kill me. They told me they would kill me if I told anybody. Of course they didn't. Monsignor Heister one time bent down, my sister recalled, and gave her a look like, if you tell anybody what happened to your brother, we'll do something to you. And, those words weren't spoken necessarily. It was a look in the face. And my poor sister, Jolene, had to witness all the aftermath. I was hanging out places when in my teens that nobody in their teens should be hanging out in. I was being prostituted. I was introduced to other prostitutes. I was told to have sex with them. And one day I remember, some around 16 or something, I was taken to something called the Spear Viaduct in Colorado and introduced to a prostitute. And one of the priests told me that I should go suck his dick. And I went down to do what I was told to do. And this prostitute said to me, don't do it. They're going to kill you. I have AIDS. They're trying to give you AIDS. And he passed me a little piece of paper. It said, run. And it gave me a name of a periodical at the Gay Rag in Los Angeles that I was able to find an apartment, and I had a job with a company called Macy's today, and I transferred to California at 18, and it just started over. But they watched me, they followed me, etc. up until I was 18, and I strongly believe my whole life, because all the other boys either perished or their repression was so deep because there was conditioning, there was brainwashing. If anybody thinks that the Catholic Church survived World War II unscathed because of the kindness of the Nazis, they need to rethink their logic. They are political strategists, and they have been able to persevere. They are their own country. They are a country within a country. My abusers, when they abused other people, were flown to the Vatican. Morano was flown to the Vatican for safekeeping. Other bishops, and they're still doing it today. You read an article in South America. They flew a bunch of people back there for protection. The organization is the best thought political organization on the planet. They're smarter than America in terms of how to protect the billions, if not, who knows what's in the Vatican archives. I can tell you one thing that's in the Vatican archives. This is my opinion. Kiddie porn. A lot of it. Because there was kiddie porn intercepted by Interpol on the way to the Vatican from my years, from St. Andrew. I have not got a hold of any of mine. I'm working on trying to figure that out. But the organization in Colorado consisted of about 12 different priests that were deeply, deeply disturbed individuals. A gentleman named Bassetti was one of the ones that started raping all of them at Camp St. Malo, and it just went on from there. I survived it because I learned how to be quick on my feet. I learned how to fight or flight. I learned when to do what they told me to do. I remember many times that the other boys would scream in pain for what was happening, and I would tell them, just be quiet. They won't hurt you more. The more you scream, the more they hurt. The harder they're going to fuck you. Just be quiet. And the consequence for not being quiet was a good beating, whatever. But I learned how to play the game. What do you think happens to somebody that was sexualized to that level as a human being? Sex was all I knew at a very young age. You don't even know what sex is when you're 6. You shouldn't. Into my teens, I was taught to be a prostitute, and I remember that I fell in love with one of my other victims. And he was so damaged, he just wanted to be a prostitute and didn't believe in love. I still believe in love. I want true love. I know it exists. I know it's out there for me. I'm still healthy sexually. I've got an amazing sex drive. Of course I do. I'm a man, A. I'm a gay man, B. But I'm 53 years old. Look at me. I don't look like I'm worn out. I'm just getting started. I believe that sensuality was a gift from the divine, eroticism, because they want us to have pleasure. They want us to enjoy the beautiful gifts around us. It's funny that one of the instances, another priest came to visit Colorado from Dallas. And we're hoping on settling with Dallas. I believe Dallas is going to do the right thing. I think their bishops are actually, really engaged in the edict of let's do the right thing. But a gentleman from Dallas, Father Roberts, who wrote a book, Playboy to Priest, also was flown to Colorado to abuse me. And he did at Camp St. Malo at the church, multiple places. I share that because I'm very hopeful they'll be settling next week, because I think they are actually good bishops, because there are some out there. But the way that he conditioned me was for me to confess that I masturbated. Other people in the parish overheard him telling other boys that come confess if you masturbated. And what do you think they did when I confessed about masturbation? Show me what you do, little boy. And let me help you. And if you don't, God will put you in the holy fires of hell. They weaponized God. And I can tell you, when you've been through this kind of abuse, I do believe there is a God, gods, the divine, the collective, whatever it may be. And I believe very strongly they love us. And they weep when they see something like this happen. He, she, it, whatever it is, whatever makes you comfortable. But they have given me gifts that are very simple, nothing that is special. We all have these gifts. It's a matter of evolution. The divine wants us to talk to them. They talk back. That's the idea of prayer. It's all over the Bible. It's a form of meditation. They don't need a priest to interpret my messages to and from God. They're personal. The church doesn't have the ability to forgive sin. Only God does. God can only define sin. So I've always asked God for forgiveness for hurting my sister or my dad, or being, when I was a kid, I shoplifted and did all kinds of stuff that kids do, but that's between me and God. And my gifts are that I'm able to have conversation with God. You know what he tells me? Or they tell me, or she tells me, I love you. You're beautiful. You are exactly the way that I meant you to be, and you are divine. And when I tell other people that are deeply steeped in religion, and mind you, I have nothing against people that need religion, and it's beautiful. There's a reason for it. God's told me a couple of things. God first says, I want my church back. It needs to be cleansed because people need to be able to go congregate and talk about spirituality and love and all these things. God also tells me, you're all divine. You're all sons. I am not the narcissist God. I love you. I don't need you to say, oh my God, holy God, I'm less than you. He wants me to they want me to thank them, to be grateful, to treat my fellow brothers and sisters on this planet with love, courtesy, respect, forgiveness, kindness. They want me to use the gifts that I've been given to better myself, to have a life of prosperity, not opulent prosperity. I don't need to be a billionaire. No good comes from that. I just want to have enough to be comfortable and be successful. And God and the divine says, yes, of course, we want you to be happy. Why are you guys so obsessed with being sad? You don't need to be. When you die, you evolve into our energetic beings. Look into the cosmos, the mysteries of the cosmos. It's beautiful, as are we. My abuse was horrific. I can't even tell you what it was like and what it's like for me to go to bed at night and be fearful of the dreams that I have, or the flashbacks that I have, the tremors. When my memories first came out, I wasn't even human. I didn't even know who I was. My husband left me, couldn't handle it, and left me in a den of, some very aggressive predators. And I did meet somebody that I thought, loved me for who I was, and that turned out not to be the case. But I survived because I'm a survivor, and I don't need to survive because I just want to be happy, and I do want to relive my childhood. I want to go have fun. I never went to college. I want to go have spring break, be crazy, all that type of stuff. I wanted to, when I was 6 years old, 5 years old, my brother was teaching me to ride a skateboard, never finished. So I bought a skateboard a year ago. I'm reliving. I'm going to build joy everywhere. But I also know that one of the greatest gifts from the divine is purpose. And purpose can be so many things. For somebody, it could be they get up in the morning, they go to their job at the pharmacy, and they fill prescriptions for people because that's what they do. And that is a beautiful purpose. For another person, it might be working at a cafeteria, might be a data worker, but those are all purpose. For me, my purpose is to unify the tribes of survivors out there. They're fragmented, the millions of us, of 5, 10, 20 million survivors of clergy and institutional abuse, don't have a single voice. If you put us together, there's a lot of us, and we all survive at a great cost. My story is a bit different because my parents never stopped loving me. They struggled with me being gay. When I was 18, I came out with a story, and let me tell you, I called every family and said, I am gay. Okay, get over it. And to this day, I'll tell you, the abuse did not make me gay. I was born gay. Catholic Church likes to say that being gay is wrong. It's funny because all the priests were gay that fucked me. Very. The bishops and the cardinals as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. Love who you want to love. Just love. Respect yourself. My purpose is to be there for any survivor that's having a hard time coming forward. And I'm not here to say, if you don't come forward and tell your truth and stand in your truth, that you're a bad person. I understand the pain is horrible. If you just need somebody to talk to explain to you what repressed memories feel like. What do you do when you start shaking and trembling? When you have rage in you that you can't control? I want to be there. I had a lot of resources, really good therapy resources fall out of the sky. Quantum neural reset therapy, MDMA therapy, mushroom therapy, you name it, I tried it. And I'm here to share my journey of healing with anybody that needs it. That's my purpose. God gave me another gift. When I was at Camp St. Malo, which is still in operation today, among the many things that they made us do, we were taught how to work with leather, jewelry. I make jewelry today. Everything that I have, I make. That was a gift. My dad loved minerals. Pyrite, turquoise, labradorite, hematite, gold, silver. All of them have divine energetic properties because they were created and forged from the earth through great pressure and gravity and bombardment through millions of years. And I had the beautiful experience of a father that could tell you how that rock got made millions of years ago. Process of sedimentation, all these things. And a mother that was a beautiful artist that quilted and taught me about color and about artistic. My mother never left the house not made up. She wasn't extravagant. You know, she didn't shop at Gucci or anything. She liked her own thing. We were a humble family, but she said, Michael, always go out and dress the part. Be you, be creative. You know, when I liked a lot of odd things. I remember showing up to high school, my first year of, I think it was high school or ninth grade. And I really liked Prince at the time. And I thought I'd dress up as Prince for the first day of school. That was a mistake. I got my ass kicked. But I really did love Prince. But I was always kind of, you know, on the fringe with style and things like that. I wanted to go to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in New York. I won a national championship with DECA, the Distributive Education Clubs of America. National championship. I think it was first or second place. So I wanted to have a career in fashion and style and industrial design, things like that. And the abuse was too much. I could never pursue that dream. But guess what? I'm going to pursue it now. Because I have a beautiful style. And I love color. And I know that color is the only way that we see energy, through the prism of light. I stand in the light today. I used to love everything dark. My house would be dark. You know, sometimes, you know, of course, I like my house dark, but no, I look beautiful in the light. We all do. Every human being has a glow in the light. It's called radiation. Be radiant. Share joy with people. If you can change one person's day just a wee bit, imagine the ripple effect that has on the energetic properties of the universe. Love the person next to you. Love the person across the table from you that you don't like. Be that force in the universe of love and kindness. The world is in desperate need of it. Look around, things are falling apart. All it takes is love. My family's always been there for me, and you know, I had a rough 20s, a lot of drugs, a lot of prostitution, a lot of other things. But then I found my way, and I got a job in Colorado as a director of IT. A guy named Walter Eisenberg was my first boss at a company called Sage Hospitality. Actually, my first boss was Rini Cavallari, and I was her assistant, but I was made to be director of IT. I had no college education. My dad always bought us computers. We were a family not of, great means, but we always had the newest computer, very expensive stuff. It's things that people less than my age may not remember what they are, but we always had them because my dad believed in it. And he made me director of IT, and it changed my life. I later went on to start a company called Digital Desktop, and I did some things there, and later became chief information or chief technology officer or senior vice president of technology for really big hotel companies, billion-dollar operations. This is because I remember nothing of my abuse. I had a lot of problems, though. I had some sexual addictions or what have you. I had some substance addictions, and I had incredible depression. I never sought therapy because I never really, knew what was wrong. And really the first therapy I ever went to was as a child, and it was about age 7, and that's a whole other story. But when I went, my memories came back. I immediately clung on to therapy, and my therapist, I remember saying, your physiological responses when we came across what happened to you at age 6, I have never seen something like it in my career. And she's worked with many, many victims. And so, my memories, as they came, I told her, but I had a successful life. And the gift of that was that I was able to sit at board of directors and also meet some really influential and powerful and wonderfully gifted people. A guy named Chip that I worked with the company, Joie de Vivre Hospitality, people that gave me skills, how to sit at a board table, how to defend ideas, how to be strong, how to not care that the person across the hallway says that you're an idiot, and when you're right. And those have all served me today. And I intend on using those skills to, help unify all these people out here, all the tribes of survivors, my brothers and sisters, to build the first monument ever to clergy abuse, something I would like to call the halls of shame. The shame belongs to the perpetrators, not us. To be a resource for people, and also to really expose the depth of the impact of this type of trauma on somebody, and also how organized the abuse was. It was a criminal operation overseen. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. The Pope, every Pope has known it's happening and allowed it to happen and continue to. And when we came forward to the church, when my stuff came out, I didn't go the route of hiring a lawyer because my dad said, let's go the Catholic route. They sent an investigator to my house that had been charged with fraud for defrauding a public school shooting investigation. And he didn't follow any of the rules. He interviewed me, I won't say illegally, but it was wrong the way it was done. And they came back and said, we know you were abused. Probably wasn't us. Fuck you. Pound that. And all I needed was therapy resources. I'm on long-term disability. I was fortunate enough to have a good program with work, but that's just about out. And, therapy is expensive. It's $150 to $250 a session. And I think about my disability and the gifts I've had. I can't imagine what an average person, a person that didn't have some of the privilege that I have. Which when I say privilege was, I'm not wealthy. I happen to be in the right place, right time. What would it be like if I didn't have some sort of resources to go get my help and therapy? And I can tell you, it would have been ended in 2 ways. I would have put a gun in my mouth, or I would have just withered into nothing. And the church counts on that. They will draw it out as long as they can in hopes that you will fall apart, kill yourself, forget, or become insane. That is the strategy of any narcissist trying to abuse them. And I hate to break it to the world. The Church of Narcissism is the Catholic Church's hierarchy. Go look at a photo of these men running around in gold, funny-looking hats in a building covered in gold that sits on top of their spoils of war, things they've stolen from every culture, from Israel to Africa, to you name it, but wiped out the Mayans. That's how wealthy they are. 1.3 billion constituents. I don't remember what the number is. Powerful, long-standing organization of Italian criminals. I don't fear them. There is goodness in the church, in any organization. There always is goodness. Everything's not black and white. There's gray. I caution people not to say, hey, every Catholic's a horrible person. That's not how that works. Everybody should be judged on their individual merits, their individual contributions. But religion is dangerous, especially when it is weaponized. And it's not just the Catholic Church. It's the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons, the evangelicals, the Baptists. Anytime you put structure and power together like that, what do you think that's called? It's a government. And people, when you achieve power and wealth, and anybody that wants to argue the wealth of any organization, be it the televangelists or be it the Catholic Church, once you get used to wealth and power, do you think you want to let go of it? No, you cling to it. I'm sorry, the vow of poverty that priests take on, which is noble, is not include, I take a $5,000 a year paycheck, but I have an airplane and I have all these other things. I live in opulence while we walk around urban streets of America and see these people that their lives have been decimated by pharmaceuticals or by whatever bad family. That money should be used for what God wanted it to be used for. But there's no accountability. Can you audit the Vatican? No, they're their own country. They have their own army, although it's not very powerful. But again, I have to tell people, don't walk away from faith. And I want to clarify what I mean by faith and forgiveness and acceptance. It starts with faith in yourself. Acceptance that what happened to you happened. And that you're still a beautiful creature. You still are capable, loved by the universe, loved by your tribe and your friends and your family. Love yourself. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself. It wasn't your fault. Some of the things that you may have done as a result of the abuse were under your own exercising of free will. But they're not your fault. If you continue to do them over and over, sure, a different story. Forgive yourself. Love, faith, forgiveness starts with yourself. Then you move on and realize that there is a spiritual world out there for you. You get to define it. All you got to do is stop, stand still, take a deep breath, breathe, listen, close your eyes. The cosmos will talk to you. Gods will talk to you. They want to hear from you because they love you. They don't want to tell you that you're a bad person, do this, this, and this, and don't eat meat on Fridays. They want to tell you, we love you and we want to give you as many gifts as you can. We can. The gift of knowledge. Anything you need, ask for, pray for, set intentions. I'm a very spiritual individual. I love God. Holy marshmallow, whatever you want to call it. And I ask the divine every day to bestow their love and forgiveness, their love and gifts upon every human being on this planet. My childhood was horrific, but let me tell you, you go to other places, Gaza, go to Africa, go to parts of Europe, South America, things are bad. And all of those beautiful people get up every day and say, I love you. And I'm going to power on another day. My history, horrific, pretty bad. But so is a lot of other people's. Coming out of all this, I want to be able to spread love and a message of truth and forgiveness and that you can heal and you can be anything you fucking want. If you've made a choice that your abuse was whatever, you're so sexualized and you want to be a prostitute, do it well. Do it morally. Probably not a good idea, but you're going to be loved. There is no judgment from the universe over sensuality, eroticism, sexuality. There's no expectation that you pray a certain prayer. I do pray a lot of the prayers that were given to me, the Our Father, things like that. It's a matter of heritage, not a faith. Heritage. I am Catholic. It is heritage. That's what we are. However, spiritually, I write my own prayers. Sometimes my prayers are just talking to God. Hey, what's going on today? How am I going to get up and move or How am I going to pay my car payment? How am I going to have some joy today? God, please bring me somebody in my life, a man that loves me, understands me, and who protects me. Because every man in my life, God bless my father. I love my father, but none of them protected me. Either they couldn't or they just wouldn't. My dad's a very good man, but you have to talk to the divine. You open their message. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, and you don't have to go to church to do it. It's in your heart. That's my message on spirituality. Find your tribe. Find people that you love. Be open-minded. Two things can be right at the same time. You can be Jewish. You can be Catholic. You can be this. You can be that. And we can all get along. Because we believe in the same thing. Love.
Wow. Michael, I am blown away by your story. I am blown away by your candor. I am blown away by your strength of sharing this and doing it with such grace and such poise, which you don't know anybody. You don't owe anybody grace and poise, but I am impressed that you're able to speak about this the way that you do. And I would just love to know how people can connect with you if they are also survivors or if they believe in the work that you do. How would you like people to get in contact with you so they can join in this mission?
I have a message for them. When you wake up, you know that you got a lot of emotions on your plate. I want you to remember something. You have millions of brothers and sisters who love you, who have been through the same thing. And I am one of them. I am very special. God tells me I'm very special, as are all of us. However, my history and my purpose make me special, and I want to hear from you. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook. I do more Instagram because it's easier. Please reach out to me in one of those mediums, and I will be here for you. And I will help you get the resources or introduce you to the resources, anything within my power. I will pray for you and I will love you. And it will be in confidence. If you want to come forward and in complete anonymous nature, I will respect that. I understand. And you can call me day or night. I don't sleep a lot because I don't need to. God gave me a gift of energy. 53 years old, I got a lot of energy. I'm here for you, so please hit me up on Instagram. I'm hoping on having as many followers as I can because I want the churches, not just the church, the institutions to see there's not just one of us, and we're not going to shut the fuck up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for your bravery. And I wish you all the love and hope and success on your journey. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Highly Spiritual Person podcast. I really hope you found this conversation inspiring and uplifting. If you did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more updates. And remember, sharing is caring, so if you think others would benefit from this content, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and family. We'll be back with more exciting content, so stay tuned and stay curious.